Are they born like that? No, nobody is born with anything, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us very pure when we're born. The way that we are, our fitra is pure. It's two things that sometimes can cause us to have issues later on in life. Number one is parenting. Okay, so when I'm dealing with this topic of NPD, it's mainly, well, how did my spouse or how did so-and-so become a narcissistic? Were they born like that? No, they weren't born like that. Usually there are a few things that cause people to have this kind of personality disorder. Number one, I see, and again this is only from my experience, which alhamdulillah is a lot, is the mother, especially with the mother, the child especially with the mother. So either the mother will be very soft, so she'll spoil the child, and the father will be super strict, like hitting or very controlling, very abusive even, to the extent, abuse can be defined in different ways. Sometimes, I'm not saying this is good, but we shouldn't hit children, but sometimes, you may just, say something to a child or just hold on to their shoulder or stop them from doing something. And there's actually beating. I mean, things I've heard in my counseling, it really saddens me, like, beating a child with a stick till you break their leg, or you hit them with a hanger and so they bleed, or you can't tell where they're bleeding from. There's so many things I've heard over the years. So then the child obviously becomes confused, very confused, and sometimes it could be this, sometimes it could be the fact that the mother or father has this kind of personality disorder, or they have depression, and they may not bring the child up with the right frame of mind, so the child becomes confused. Again, applying all the things I've spoken about before, being very selfish, blaming the child for everything, so the child then either will become an empath, and this really depends on, are they the first child, the second child, the third child? For example, the first child may become an empath, the second child may become a narcissistic personality disorder. It really just depends. It's just a pattern that I've seen over the years, how the eldest child obviously has the most baggage because he's seen or she's seen the most abuse, or seen the most things happening with their parents. Third thing is the relationship the parents show in their house. For example, if you have a dysfunctional house where mom and dad are always arguing, there's always problems, mom's using the children or dad's using the children against each other, basically it's dysfunctional, the child will grow up with a lot of anxiety. Again, that's one reason I have seen where children will become narcissistic when they grow up, mainly because they feel they have to protect themselves. So you have to go inside of a narc's mind to understand what they are thinking. It's very hard to do that, but alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Another thing I have to say is, a lot of times people say, will they ever heal? And if you go to the Western world, where psychology is concerned, there's no healing for NPD. But we know, it says in the Quran, that for every illness, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent down some healing. Yes, and alhamdulillah, because of my experience and only by the will of Allah, I have helped many people recover from this. But two things you have to understand. One thing, you have to be committed to do the work, and you have to have therapy, and you have to come for therapy, and accept that you have a problem. If you can do not two things, actually three things, then inshallah you will heal. Because what I do, I specialize in childhood trauma, and I go back and I deal with that. I help people heal from that. And alhamdulillah, people heal. So just going back to the points, these are some of the points that people have asked me. Is somebody born a narcissist? No, they're not born. It's mainly due to parenting as well. I mentioned another environment is the school. Obviously, children get bullied. I haven't seen that people become narcissistic because of that, but they have many issues because they have been bullied as children at school. So that is another topic to look at, inshallah.